Hey guys, I'm Brian.
And I'm Terry.
And welcome back to our Tactical Lever Gun series here on Wolf's Prairie Outdoors. We have been doing ballistic tests as far as ballistics gel, meat, and now we're going to step up to some walls and show you guys what these rounds will do in walls of modern day homes.
Yeah, there's a lot of track homes out there. That's most of what you get these days.
Yeah, and very condensed neighborhoods.
There's sheetrock and vinyl and very few brick houses. They might have a little rock on them here and there.
Yeah.
But we're just representing the basically vinyl, OSB, 2x4 studded box, not wall.
Yep.
There's some R13 insulation in here, pretty typical. 1/2 inch sheetrock, 2 walls of 1/2 inch sheetrock with nothing in between.
And these walls are built to spec as far as 16 on center, and they are screwed 2 places, each one about 8 to 10 inches apart for the screws on each side, so all 4 sides. So that gives it a good solid surface. It's not floppy, it's not loose.
Yeah, it's pretty representative of what
a standard wall would be. Granted, we're not, 15 feet apart or 12 feet apart or 20 feet apart for these walls, but you're not going to have a massive velocity loss in that span. What we're doing here is showing you what these bullets are going to do when they penetrate. How far, obviously, they're going to penetrate. What's the damage going to be? So,
and just in case anybody's concerned, no, we didn't paint the wall, so we don't have the thickness of the paint on there. Nor do we have Tyvek under that vinyl.
Yes.
So it's a little bit different.
A little bit. If we had some of that good old-fashioned lead paint from the 70s, that might have stopped some bullets.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to kick it off with the 357, run through our 44, 30-30, and 45-70. Every time we do this, to keep things as even as possible, we are going to redo the vinyl, the OSB, and the sheetrock on each of these walls, because
and the insulation.
Yeah, and the insulation. Because when you shoot this, everything is going to be shocked.
Fractured.
You risk weakening it so that the next round has an easier time getting through.
And looks more destructive when it may not be.
Right. We want to see what the overall destruction of these is and just have some fun blowing stuff up again.
That's it.
Let's get to it, guys. Up first, we have the Marlin 1894 CST chambered in 357 Magnum. Up first, we have the Hornady Lever Evolution 357 Magnum 140 grain FTX round with a muzzle velocity of 1,440 feet per second. Eyes and ears, boys and girls, very important when you're doing close distance things like this. And again, we're right around the 7-yard mark, represent close proximity, shooting inside your house, anything like that. So let's get to it. 357's up first. Oh, and we added a cinder block at the back. See what kind of explosive force we have coming out of the back of these 3 walls. Let's get to it. Let's go check that out. All right, guys, let's check out the damage. So obviously we have an entrance wound right in the middle of the wall. Let's head back.
Pretty solid.
Exit on the first piece of wall. Decent little hole. Going into the second wall, obviously we have some fragmentation or a chunk of wall. I'd highly doubt that's a chunk of wall, so a piece of the bullet broke off and went through there, or the jacket. Moving into the back side, still just one big exit. Moving into the third wall, we have a little bit of fragmentation again and some peppering off to the side.
And that peppering's probably just pieces of sheetrock that busted up.
Yeah. Now, the real fun, let's check the back here. As you can see, we've got actually 2 exit wounds here on the wall, and then we did have pretty solid hit on the concrete, but it did not penetrate. It just made the back side of the concrete wall explode.
Yeah, there was enough. It's still there, but
yeah, let's turn it and look.
Flex that concrete. Concrete will flex slightly.
And lo and behold, we caught the bullet in between the concrete and the drywall. And it is embedded with concrete on the front side of that.
It sure is.
And we look at the concrete block, nice solid hit, and whatever came through up top made a nice little divot as well. So it had some speed still coming through even after it broke up.
Yeah, it did. Even that little piece it caused damage. I mean, that's a
and we've got about about a ½ inch deep hole in that concrete.
Yep.
Definitely a substantial hit. I mean, 357 went through 3 walls and knocked a big chunk out of that concrete block. You would not want to be on the other side of those walls with that coming through.
I mean, that could probably kill you. I mean,
yeah, if a loved one is on the other side of one of those walls, that's something you really have to consider with the type of ammunition you're using in your house and the caliber. There's a lot going into all this, so that's why we're doing this testing, to show you guys what it's actually going to do.
I got a feeling it's going to get worse.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just curious how many walls. We're going to have to do this again sometime.
Yeah, how many walls can we penetrate?
Yeah, I mean, they could go through 3 or 4 walls in the house.
On into the neighbor's house.
And maybe to the next one. Who knows?
It'd be crazy to think of. But with all these modern track homes, like Dad said, that's this is what they are.
Yeah, there's nothing there. You can walk up with a hammer and knock a hole inside of the house and be in there in minutes.
Yeah.
You don't need a key.
No.
You don't have to break glass.
Door and window alarms don't do you any good when you can take a battery-powered Sawzall and be in the house completely in 30 seconds.
Pretty quietly, too.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's step it up to a 44. We're going to bust this concrete block. We will change the concrete block out as well, so we're going to reset everything. Back in a minute. Up next, we have the Rossi Model 92 chambered in 44 Magnum. Our 44 Magnum ammo is a Hornady custom 44 mag 200 grain XTP round with a muzzle velocity of 1,500 feet per second. All right, let's see what kind of wallop this 44 packs. Ooh, boy. Okay, guys, one thing to keep in mind, this was not an FTX round. This was your standard hollow point. So it's going to act a little bit differently, and let's check out and see what happened. So, of course, upon entry, we still got your standard entry. When we get to the exit, on the first wall, we've got a nice big hole from that 44, and a small piece, I guess, of the bullet that fragmented off. When we get to the second wall, we have 2 solid entries.
And there's a couple small entries and a whole lot of
peppering around there from debris from the sheetrock.
Yep.
Now let's move on to the third.
Piece came out there.
I can see out the front.
There's 2 holes.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a hole here too.
Yeah, there was a lot of fragmentation there. That bullet really came apart. On the third wall, we have 2 entry wounds again.
2 small.
Yep,
specks.
a little bit of fragmenting, some up here.
Yep.
Now let's move around to the back side. We have 2 exits. We have copper jacket right there.
So that was one of our...
Yep, see if you can get that out of there. We'll just rock that wall out of the way. And...
yeah, it definitely separated.
Okay, so there's our copper jacket, and actually we have the lead core laying here as well, that obviously when it knocked that nice hole through the block, the lead jumped out and we managed to catch it on the side.
There's no damage to the back side there, so it looks like that was it. It busted that hole, and
yeah, that was it. But
that's all she wrote.
As you can see, upon entry, when it hit that plywood, it started coming apart. Still obviously a very devastating round. I mean, we penetrated 3 walls and busted that concrete block more than the 357, but the bullet fragmented, so we had multiple pieces flying.
And it went through that block. That's probably at least another wall or 2.
Yeah, oh, without a doubt.
Easily.
Yeah. Learning some neat stuff here.
Oh yeah.
I love science.
And now, you got to take into consideration, there's wires, there's pipes, there's pictures and furniture and
yeah,
doors.
This is worst case scenario.
Studs you might hit, but we're showing worst case if it makes it through, hits no objects other than sheetrock, insulation,
yeah,
the siding and whatnot, you know.
I can say without a doubt any of these rounds are going to penetrate 3 walls now that we've done the 357 and 44. 30-30 and 45-70 up next. I'm excited to see that block explode. Let's move on to the 30-30, guys. We'll reset and be right back. Next up, we have the Marlin 336W chambered in 30-30 Winchester. For 30-30, we have a Hornady Lever Evolution 30-30 Winchester 160 grain FTX round with a muzzle velocity of 2,400 feet per second. All right, guys, let's see what this 30-30 will do. little bit of a thump on that one. The block did not come off the table. Let's see what happened. All right, guys, well, let's check out what the 30-30 did. The block didn't come off like I was expecting it to. I didn't see a massive explosion, so let's see what happened. Entrance wound as expected. Exit pretty much as expected, just a nice hole coming out the back.
Actually, probably one of the most solid ones.
Yeah.
You know, so far.
Entry into this next one, you can see it's getting some shape to it. That bullet is expanding.
And some little fragments that could be in that rock. They're tiny little pieces.
Back of the second wall, we have 3 exits, almost 4 or 5, so I got a feeling there are some shards of copper in there. That jacket probably separated.
There's one right there, you can see the hump.
And if you look at that hole, it is elongated. And look at the first part of wall 3. The bullet has keyholed. It is going sideways now. It's starting to tumble. Move around to the back, and you can see it obviously was going sideways when it came out the back. And let's look at this block. We've got a nice entry on that block. Even with the bullet doing what it was doing, it did nothing to the inside of the back wall.
Let's see, right there's
just some powder.
Yeah, I just left residue there. Nothing happened.
Yep, and
I'm not seeing any lead.
No bullet.
That I can tell. Kind of hard to.
And I'm looking to the side, and guys, if I go over here near our pile of sheetrock from this, we have a piece of copper. So we managed to find that. The jacket separated. Actually,
it's all there.
That is the entire back half of the jacket. You can see, you can actually see the grooves on the bullet. So the jacket separated from the core came on through. This part of the jacket flattened out, and that's what we've got. Yeah,
amazing.
Surprising.
I expected a lot more out of that thing for sure.
Yeah, I did too. You know, 30-30 on the ballistics gel as well, it didn't penetrate near as far as the others. So it's a good round, good hydrostatic shock, but it's not going to penetrate nearly as far as the other rounds. And obviously that lost a lot of power, a lot of energy, but it still had enough to make it into that block.
It did worse damage at the end on the block than 357.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right, guys, let's step it up. I really want to see this block just explode, but obviously these walls are slowing the rounds down enough that it's not going to shatter the block. But let's see if that 4570, that's a lot of power.
Our last hope. We want some explosion.
Yes,
here.
we do. Let's try to blow this thing up with that 4570. We're going to reset and see you in a minute, guys. Last but certainly not least, the Marlin 1895 SBL chambered in 4570. Our 4570 offering is a Hornady Lever Evolution 4570 Government 325 grain FTX round with a muzzle velocity of 2,000 feet per second. All right, guys, this is the last hope. 4570 325 grain FTX. Let's see if we can shatter that block. That blew it apart. Well, guys, that did not disappoint.
Yeah, it definitely did some damage.
2,000 feet per second, 325 grains. There's just no.
I wouldn't want to be on the other side of that wall. Definitely.
I can't wait for our next video coming up. We're doing car doors and concrete blocks, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So you guys definitely check back for that. But let's check out the damage we got from that 4570. So, as expected, the entry is a nice round, big old hole. Exit, it stayed together. We got a nice hole, almost a ½ inch diameter. Entry, again peppering from the other sheetrock, and nice entry wound.
Got a big exit there.
Oh yeah, it's really started to expand and bust out. Coming in on the next side, you can see it has started to, the jacket's probably elongating and getting kind of jagged.
That's what I'm thinking. It must have got long and then it just went in there sideways.
And we got a couple of pieces of copper probably breaking off from the jacket that are going in here. And then, of course, our exit, we have those other 2 pieces coming out on the exit.
Just one of those pieces, I mean,
That's basically like a 22 coming through there.
You don't want that.
Nice big hole I can stick my finger in and still have room around. And then, of course, concrete block in many pieces. We have looked around for bullet pieces and cannot find any. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of block, and it looks like I hit it squarely in the joint.
And tons of this.
Yeah, it just shards everywhere. Well, guys, there's definitely a lot of information to take into consideration here. You know, these rounds really penetrated a lot. And you know, there's a lot to think about as far as your proximity to other houses and the safety factor. You obviously don't want to be using a 45-70 for home defense if you're in a compact neighborhood. No.
I mean, if that's all you got, you know.
Yeah, do what you can with what you got, but take into consideration what's behind those walls when you're shooting and really think about it. We'll do more testing coming up in other series with different calibers, shotguns, the whole 9 yards.
And train your family that when you holler down, that means get on
hit the ground. Yeah, you definitely don't want a loved one behind the walls when you're shooting any of these calibers, because this is some serious stuff. I mean, there's a lot of penetration there, a lot of power, obviously a lot of energy dumped in that concrete block, which is way harder than flesh is.
Yeah, they all did serious damage.
Yeah.
You know, you would at minimum be very hurt.
Yeah. Now, if you're out in the country and all you've got is 45-70, have at it. You know, I mean, if that's all you got, period, have at it. But just be mindful with the rounds you select. I just found out that Hornady actually makes a subsonic round for 45-70 that's supposed to expand really well. We're going to get our hands on that and do a follow-up to this later on, and we'll go through all the same tests with that subsonic round.
That should slow up a lot faster.
Yeah, and it's still supposed to do expansions around 900 to 1,000 feet per second, I think. So half the speed of this should be a pretty substantial round.
That should slow it down quick. It probably won't go near as.
Yeah, I don't expect near the penetration out of it, but still deliver good expansion. So
yeah,
definitely have to get our hands on that and try it out in the future. So check back for a follow-up on that. And guys, if you like what you see, give us a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you want to. And don't forget to check out our sponsors of these videos, Hornady, Big Daddy Unlimited, and Range Point Precision. Without them, this would not be possible. We are super grateful for those guys. So the more support you show them, it helps us out. We really appreciate it. And again, share us with your friends. There's a lot coming. Check back soon. We've got some car doors and cinder blocks being shot. Gonna be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Have a good one, guys.
See you next time.